is Poppy YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl DOPEaxxPANA, y'all, and I ain't even got into it, and I know that this video deserves to go viral. I'm doing a braided side part sew-in, and it is literally about to eat the girls up. I teamed up with CurlsQueen for this look. Their packaging is so luxurious, guys. I love opening it. It's just definitely an experience. They give you a wet brush for your bundles. They also give you a large bonnet, which I love because you can use it for your weaves or braided styles. Also has an edge band on it. We know those be the best bonnets. But the real star of the show, y'all, is these Kinky curly bundles. These bundles eat so bad that I was on their website looking at how I can order some for myself. I'm gonna be using 2 of these today, which I was kind of nervous about because I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna be enough, but y'all, the body, the bounce, the shine, it was more than enough for the 2 bundles. So I'm super excited to get into this. So y'all, all the styles from the 90s are coming back, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving it. I'm not mad at it. So this is gonna mimic like a super cute natural type hairstyle. That's what we're going for with this vibe. And I'm gonna be braiding a small section on the right side of her head. So that's what I'm just parting out for right now. This style has actually been going really viral on TikTok, and so when I seen it, I was like, oh yeah, I have to recreate it. Initially, I was gonna be doing a different look today, but I had to switch it up and pivot last minute. So I was on TikTok like, what's hot, what's popping, and the girls were saying that this was it. So this is what we're doing. So I'm speeding through this part right here because honestly, I'm just doing like a freestyle braided design. I went with the Alicia Keys loop around braids. I feel like these are always my go-to when I'm doing a freestyle. Super cute, super fun, super easy to do. For these braids, we're not adding any braiding hair, and you totally could add braiding hair, but we're going for something super natural here. So I didn't add any braiding hair for this look, but I'm just gonna be stitching my client's natural hair. And then right here, I'm parting out a very small leave out that I'm gonna use to cover up those tracks. My first braid for my braid down in the back is actually going to be an anchor braid, and I'm braiding straight down right behind those braids that my client has to make sure that when I'm sewing those tracks in, I can cover up those gaps in between the braids, and I'll show you guys what I mean in a minute. Then I'm going to start by braiding down, and I'm going to braid the ends of those braids that I just braided into these braids in the back, and I'm going to close my sewing in over them. And yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to get into this. I chose to do this method of a braid down versus a beehive because I notice whenever I do a beehive, it causes a lot of tension in that center section for my client's head, and I'm able to get a flatter foundation using this method. So I'm gonna do another anchor braid on the opposite side. Again, I'm following around my leave out section and down on her edges. This is all gonna be covered. So you're really not gonna see too much of this side of her head. That weave in the front is gonna come forward like a little side bang. And oh my god, guys, I don't really get excited for many hairstyles because I feel like as a hairstylist I've done it all, but this is actually my first time doing this, and I just thought it turned out so bomb. Soleil was the perfect model for this, so I'm really excited for you guys to see how it turned out. So I'm just showing you guys my braid down for this. I'm gonna go ahead and sew down that tail, and the braid down is pretty simple. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So I have worked with CurlsQueen before. I actually first started out using their clip-ins. I then did some DIY boho braids on myself, and now I'm doing this sew-in look. And I really love the versatility of this company. They have all type of extensions, whether you're a braider, a weave specialist, tape-ins. They literally offer everything. So make sure you guys go ahead and check their site out. I believe this is my first time using actual bundles from them, and guys, I was so impressed with the curl pattern of these, the thickness, the fullness, the shine, the bounce, and how beautifully it matches our natural hair texture. If you read about the goal of the company, it's really to mimic our natural hair textures and to offer a range of variety of curl patterns for African American women, whether your hair is in the 4s, 4C, 4B, 3A, 3B, 3C, and I think that they do a really great job of that. There's so many different curl patterns no matter where you are on the texture spectrum. They have something for you guys, so I'm really impressed with that. So now I sped up me sewing this in, but I did double up the weft for this first bundle, and I'm gonna be taking this all the way around and up on that first anchor braid, and this is gonna help to start creating that little bang area. And you guys can see how full this is. I'm not even done with this first bundle. I did end up cutting the bundle in certain areas just because this weft is very full and thick, and I wanted to make sure that my install was nice and flat where I needed it to be, so in like the leave out areas. I think this part is fairly easy, but I am going to show you really detailed how I am going to blend her natural hair in and also cover up the tracks on that braided side. That's really important. Right here, I'm kind of just sewing back and forth, and you guys can see the hair was so full that I could leave a little bit of space in between tracks. I didn't want it to be like overly full, and so now that I'm working with my second bundle, I did spread it out just a little bit, and I am doing a single weft. I didn't double it up this time. All you want to think about is pretty much just sewing the tracks in like a U shape, keep going back from side to side, and then my last track is going to be sewn on both of my anchor braids just to kind of frame her leave out and frame where those braids are. So you guys can see this is my last braid on this side, and I'm just putting it right on top of that anchor braid, and I'm going to go ahead and seal it off, and then I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side. I'm going to put a couple more tracks in, and that last one will be right on top of my anchor braid. This style altogether took me about 2.5 hours to complete. That's from the braid down, the braids on the side, and the styling. And so it's a super quick and fun and flirty hairstyle. And oh my God, I just knew that y'all were gonna love this. So please let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. If I'm overhyping it, let me know too, like it's mid. But I just love the way that this turned out. Oh my God. I was like, the whole time I was doing it, I kept turning her to the mirror. Like, I just know that this is going to be so fire. Alright guys, so now that I'm done sewing those tracks down, I am going to show you how I blended that leave out, and I left this in regular speed so that you guys can really see how I'm blending. I have two areas that I need to blend. The first is her actual leave out, and then the second is right along where these braids are. You guys can see some tracks and that anchor braid. And to cover this side up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull small pieces of the hair and I'm going to crochet it through the braids. This is going to give the illusion that her hair is like rubber banded and it's coming from out the braids versus you being able to see tracks in the weft. And so I'm going to do this all down that anchor braid to give it kind of like a hidden effect. It's really important that you're patient with this step and you're taking small pieces. If you take big pieces, it won't lay correctly. You also want to be careful because obviously these braids are braided down tight and it can be a little uncomfortable to stick the latch hook underneath these braids. So you want to just make sure that you're taking your time so that you're not causing too much discomfort for your client. You also don't want to mess up those braids that you obviously just did, but you guys can see that hair already falling and covering up that braid. I'm going to keep doing this all the way down the braid until everything is fully covered, and then you guys will be able to see the finished look of that. Another alternative to this would be to leave out the ends of your client's natural hair. You can also rubber band these off and blend it with the CurlsQueen hair. It's super easy to blend your hair with it just because it does mimic a natural texture, but I didn't have a mini wand on hand, and so I wanted to do as minimal leave out as possible, and so that's why I chose to go with this method, and either or works amazing. Now that you guys can see what I'm doing and get a hang of it, I am going to speed it up just a little bit. As soon as I do all down this braid, this is what it looks like, and I'm just going to go through and anywhere I can see either track or a little bit of the braid, I'm going to try to close that out by pulling a little piece and crocheting it through, and pretty much it looks like it is coming out of the braids, which I absolutely love. There's one more little section that I see, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Altogether, this took about 15 minutes to do. It really doesn't take a long time, and you guys can see how awesome that is blended. Next, we're going to go with her leave out, and I started out by straightening it with my mini flat iron. Like I said, I didn't have a mini wand, and so I knew this was going to be a little tricky, but I was able to blend it pretty well. Like I said, this hair is very easy to blend. In addition to that, I'm going to be styling her edges on this side as well. So like I said, I wasn't really anticipating on doing this style, so I didn't have my mini wand with me. I actually planned on doing a boho braid style with this hair, but we had to switch the look up, and so I had to get creative with how I did this leave out. So I tried a couple different methods, and I'm going to show you what actually worked. At first, I tried to take my mini flat iron, pull it through, and curl it that way, but this made the curl a little bit looser than what I wanted, and so I was like, I didn't really like the way that was going in with the texture. Even though it looks decent, I knew that I needed the curl to be just a little bit tighter for it to blend seamlessly. So I took a pin and I wanted this to act as a mini wand. I've actually done this before with a number 2 pencil, but y'all, I didn't really think this through because obviously it's plastic, right? So I wrapped her hair around it and I was like, oh, I could use this as like, you know, a mini wand and just place the flat iron on there. Y'all, why did the pin start melting? I was like, okay, we're back to the drawing board. That's not gonna work. You know, honestly, the vision was there, and in the moment, I was down to try whatever, but I was like, yeah, that's not gonna do it. Even though, I'm not gonna lie, looking back at it, it was kind of fire, but y'all see the pin. I was like, the pin is gonna be gone by then. So basically what I did is I took very small sections, I took my mini flat iron, and I pretty much focused it on the base of my client's scalp. I didn't really pull it out at all and kind of just twisted her hair in it. This was allowing me to get like a tighter curl, which is what I was going for. And this is what I'm gonna use to blend with the leave out. So what I'm actually going to do here is after curling each section, I'm going to take the track that's closest to it right on top, and I'm going to take small pieces and kind of curl it around with these curls, and it's going to blend in a little bit that way. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my Got To Be Glued spray and I'm going to kind of mold this down in the shape and position that I want it to be in and kind of hold it down there. This is going to make sure that none of the track is showing, which the track was honestly very easy to hide. I really didn't have an issue with that. And yeah, I think it turned out bomb, so I'm gonna let you guys see what it looks like in just a second. But basically I just took the ends and I pulled those curls through the natural hair, and y'all, it looks bomb already. If I had my mini wand, the only thing I would do different is probably not straighten the actual root of her hair, because this hair is really textured, and so honestly I didn't really need to straighten it like I did, but I still think it turned out bomb. I'm gonna do her edges, and then I'm gonna add like a little bit of edge control to kind of mold it. But once I did those edges, y'all, don't tell me she don't look fire. Like, she looks so fire, and this is the natural texture of the hair out the box. We haven't done anything to it, but Soleil wanted me to tame it down just a little bit, so I was like, okay, cool, I can give them like a dry look and a wet look. So we're gonna go with the wet look. I went ahead and wet these bundles down all the way from the front to the back, and I'm gonna actually cut them a little bit and shape them to her face. My favorite look with this hair was definitely it in its natural texture out the box, but this also ate down. I just went ahead and framed her face a little bit because everything was kind of like at the same length, and y'all know curly hair, it needs its layers just to give it a little bit of life and body. And oh my god, like it just looks so fire. I was like, they're gonna eat this up, Soleil, they're gonna love it. She was just so beautiful. So I played around with it. I still wanted to get some volume out of it, so I teased it a little bit. I cut layers in it, and voila, guys, we are at the finished look. Please don't tell me that she doesn't look like a Barbie doll. She literally looks so fire. This is honestly the style of the summer, no cap. I love the jaded weight is down, but y'all, there's something about this that is just, it's different, you feel me? So shout out to CurlsQueen. Make sure you check everything that's linked in the description section down below. If you guys love this hairstyle, drop red hearts, and I will catch you guys in my next video. BreAunna tutorials, lives, reviews, yeah, all that. BreAunna, not the little one. Hey, what you mean? Big box braids on your top, yeah, add it up.